What's up, Luca Nation? Special guest episode today, and we are pleased to bring you Mr. Jimmy Bro, Jimmy Gunz. Mr. Jimmy Bro is his Twitter name, and Jimmy Gunz is where you can find him on YouTube. He does the Gunz Show auction and hangout. I'm really happy to be able to bring Jimmy to our Luca Nation audience here who might not know of him, might not be on Twitter, might not have seen him on YouTube. We want you to go and check out his stuff. But this guy is a true asset to the sports card and collecting community. Some great content out there. Great dad. You check out the videos of him with his daughter and his son. Did a cross country trip. But what drew me to him was the gun show auctions and hangouts that he does every weekend. And most of the time he's doing them for charity as well. Got a big one coming up on December 5th. And just a real selfless guy. So we're happy to have him here. And thanks for tuning in and thanks for listening. We bring you our special weekly guest episode with Mr. Jimmy Bro, Jimmy Gunz. Thanks, everybody.
Luca Nation. I've been doing this long enough to know when not to miss the intro. This is the guest today that you're going to want to get all of his content, man. He's a personality. I'm excited to see him and Cage. You know how they are going to go off, but I'm really excited. His name is Jimmy Gunz. He's a YouTube personality. I've watched him from afar, but I'm really excited to get to know him today. Jimmy, I don't want to butcher anything that you're about because you're a creative soul. Give us your story, man. I want to hear it.
Like getting into the hobby or life?
Any of it, man, because I know it's all great stories. But yeah, I mean, how you got into the hobby, how you started. I mean, literally, we have no script. And I think that's what, is part of the fun. And I'm thrilled to have you on here because, I mean, what I told Andrew when I'm like, I'm bringing this guy on here, what you have going on Twitter is amazing, man. It's like one of the most loyal followings I've ever seen, right? And it really is a cool microcosm of the hobby. I mean, there are people who you reach out and you say, all right, guys, this is what I'm doing. And boom, 100 people are like, we're there with you, ride or die. You're like a Fast and Furious movie, dude. So
crazy. And it's crazy. Yeah, I'm blessed with the group that I have on Twitter. It's something that didn't happen overnight. Been on there for about 4 years and a lot of trials and tribulations on how to grow. Well, not to mention, I've never tried to grow my channel until recently. It's always just kind of happened organically. So we've always had a real good group of people, that we've been locked in with. 2020 has been a weird year, though. A lot of new people have come in this year, and you're seeing all these different kind of groups. A lot of different personalities, a lot of people about different things. So I see a lot of this going on Twitter right now. And it's weird. Like, just the other day, I actually posted that it's getting real hard for me to read people's Twitter chats because I'm blocked by so many people. All of a sudden, you can't read what people say. And it's like, okay, cool. Right on.
So beginning, right? So did you collect as a kid?
Oh, of course. I'm back in the 89 era. I remember the kid, the Griffey Jr. I was also flat broke, so the idea of having upper deck was just, my rich friend Jason that lived 3 houses up that had the Jaguar and the Nintendo the day it came out. He got to buy upper deck. I was buying Don Russ. That's why the Don Russ rated rookie is Ken Griffey. That's my favorite card. But yeah, I collected all the way through, let me see, about probably 15, 16 years old until I started playing sports real heavy. But then got away from it, just wasn't into it for a long time. I had a daughter, Aspen. I always had this collection. I remember when the Haiti earthquake happened, I had no money to donate to my church, because they were doing something big. And I remember I took my whole collection and I was like, hey, auction this off. I'm never going to have a son. There's no reason for me to have sports cards anymore. And lo and behold, my daughter ends up becoming the sports freak in the family. And I ain't gonna lie, I wish I kind of had those cards back because, I was my child. And now I have a son who's 4 years old. But it was me and my daughter that got into collecting. Started collecting. I went through a little depression. And I remember I bought a He-Man toy on eBay. And when I got this toy, I was holding it, and I'm a grown man, I'm 20-something years old. I'm holding this toy, and I'm getting these weird euphoric flashbacks to being a kid at Christmas. And so I just started buying. I started buying all kinds of He-Mans, everything. And my wife sat me down at the table and she was like, baby, I'm very happy that you found something you like, but you spent $4,000 this month. So, that's where the collecting started. And me and my daughter, I realized that if I got her interested in it, then my wife could we cuss? I don't want to accidentally say it about it. Then my wife could
do your thing.
It's me and my daughter doing it. You don't take this away from us. So we started collecting real heavy. She got into basketball, and I coached her basketball team for about like 6 seasons or something. And by the way, we only lost like 3 games the entire time.
Nice. There you go. Yeah,
you know,
he's flexing his coach muscles, guys.
Man, I'm telling you, I was a great coach. I really was. I was building kids. But we were driving. She had a really good practice one day, and we were driving. We were driving home, and I saw a card shop, and I haven't seen a card shop in forever. And I was like, well, it's a card shop. Daddy used to collect cards. And she was like, well, let's stop and check it out. So, man, I remember walking in, and it definitely wasn't like I remembered. I walked in, and I'm looking at these prices, and I was like, oh, is that for the box? And they're like, no, that's for a pack. And I'm like, whoa. But we ended up buying a pack of Illusions football. And then we bought a Panini something basketball, and went home and we opened these and ended up pulling a triple threads out of the football, Dan Marino, Elway, and Favre. And I had no idea there were cards like that, period. And I'm like, wow. And then we open up the basketball pack, and I get this guy named Greek Freak, rookie auto, Rising Tides, right? And I didn't realize how good it was. But yeah, then we were hooked. They had us right by the throat. And I've been broke ever since. Now I got to count change to supersize my fries.
So we got to roll out so much stuff.
Like
so many things to, as Andrew likes to say, unpack from that. So number one, right? Yeah. Number one, I hope for the $4,000 there was a Castle Grayskull in there when you're buying your He-Man stuff.
I got one in the box. Yeah. No, I'm ready. As soon as that movie comes out, I'm sitting on probably like $30,000 worth of He-Mans.
So I asked that.
My wife gets none of it because she bitched the whole time. So
that's it. I like it. It's funny. We had Jeremy Padower on, and that's one of the toy brands that he actually does with his toy company. Right. And you know, while Andrew's talking about Andrew, talk to Jeremy for a second. I got to show him something. I went to my basement. I pulled out my Castle Grayskull. I'm like, look at this! Look what I got! Right. So I got one too, man. Don't worry.
In fact, hold on.
Completely natural. He's got one. I love it. See, I'm not the only one, Andrew, who goes and finds the Castle Grayskull.
The 5 jerseys on his.
I got him sitting right
there. It is. He's got the whole set. Castle Grayskull. The 5 jerseys.
Do you see the jerseys? Autos? Is
I
that
can
Bo
see.
Jackson right there in the middle?
So Bo Jackson in the middle looks like Jerry Rice on the far right. It might be a Plunkett. 16
Jimmy,
might be Plunkett.
Jimmy, who were you a fan of growing up? Are you a team fan or are you a player fan?
I was a Walter Payton fan. Jim McMahon was cooler than an Ice Cube and Eskimo's ass. Like that dude in 85 when they were doing the Super Bowl shuffle and all that. There was nothing better. So I was a
Chicago guy.
I'm a Raider fan until like 95 or 96.
Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Portland, Oregon, born and raised.
Let's go.
I'm from Portland, Oregon, but I'm not of Portland, Oregon. In fact, me and my family just fled about 3 years ago to the country.
Tell me more.
Life has never been. We got out, I think, in time.
Yeah, see, he's got the sweetness, man. I love it. Chicago '85, there was nothing like them. You know, 85 Bears, and you didn't know this, man, because you know, we run in similar circles on Twitter, but this is the first time we're actually chatting. I'm a Raider fan since I'm 5 years old. I'm a huge Raider fan. That was my Pee Wee football team when I was a kid.
Nice,
so I love the jerseys. I love the stuff, but we've been suffering for quite some time. The Raiders, they haven't won since Super Bowl 18. That's a lifetime right there.
I know it.
What I'm curious about is, so when I was doing some research on Jimmy, and I think the world needs more Jimmys, to be honest.
I don't think so.
His wife doesn't think so. No.
You're someone that's respectful but speaks your mind. That's the vibe at least I got, right?
Right.
That's sometimes there's a lot of content creators getting into sports cards. Okay. What would you recommend to them, right? Like sometimes it's hard to know where to find your niche, especially for someone like you who's like kind of multifaceted. You like a lot of different things. How does it be not just verbal kind of vomit? How did you find your niche, or how did you find your lane?
You know, somebody told me a long time ago that when it comes to finding the right woman, you don't choose her, she chooses you. And that's real. And my thing, what I would tell somebody is when they're coming in, be yourself, and your group will choose you. If you try to change who you are to fit into a different group, it's not going to work. You're going to end up being fake, not be yourself. You'll end up being exposed. Be yourself. If people don't like you, whatever, but you have to be confident and have a strong back to rock with that, because, you know, I got a lot of people that don't like me.
Do you remember your first video?
I don't remember my first
YouTube video.
I don't remember what one it was, but I remember it was me and Aspen just going through cards, and we were so excited about like a Will Clark, you know, like just the most random cards, you know. Sometimes I wish I can go back to those feelings.
Oh yeah. So that's what I wanted to unwrap, right? So two things, right? And we can, you know, we'll go through them but one is you with your kids, because there are a lot of people who are in this now, like myself included, who got back into this with my kids. I have a daughter, I have a son myself, and who are trying to recapture some of my youth, collecting with my dad, or, you know, what I did as a kid. So I do want to talk to you about that. And I also want to talk to you about charity, because it's amazing. I didn't know the church with the, you know, the Haiti story. I know you from doing your, you know, your gun shows, auctions, and, you know, trying to help out other people in the community. You got one coming up on December 5th, and we want to talk about that and drop that stuff for our audience. This way they can participate too. You know, so those are the two things I want to chat with you about. Let's take the kids first, right? Did you collect with a parent? Did you collect as a kid? Is this something you want to do now? No?
Nah, it was just me and my friends, you know. Growing up, I had a mom who was real busy and a stepdad who didn't really have any interest in me or anything else. And, you know, I lived a tough life, man. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was young, and they put me on just a buttload full of Ritalin and turned me into a zombie. Like, to be honest, I don't remember a huge portion of my childhood, because, you know, basically I was a damn drug addict as an 8-year-old. So I remember cards was something that I could just do by myself.
Yep.
You know, you can go in your room and you could, I guess it was like playing solitaire. Like, you can go in your room and just organize your cards and organize them 1,000 different ways every day. And
amazing how it's changed, though, right? You were doing it by yourself, and now you're doing it for 3,000 people at once on video. Online.
I know, yeah. Well, that's social media. That's all of us. What are you looking for? A piece of paper? Can't find it. Oh, so that's all of us, and that's what's so great about social media. Like, when me and my daughter first opened, you know, those first packs and was getting into it, I remember telling a few of my friends. A lot of my friends are, you know, thuggy knuckleheads, and get back into sports cards, and they're just making fun of me relentlessly. But then you pop on social media and you're like, whoa, there's a whole group of hardly functioning derelict nerds like me that collect cards into the 30s and 40s. It's amazing. Right. And it's weird. Like, if you look at my phone, call history, text messages, I almost text message and call people from the online community as much as I talked to my actual friends I grew up with since grade school and middle school. So
we love the hobby community for that. But so guys, I'm just taking 30 seconds. Just because we've gone far enough into it, can you do me a favor, Jim? Drop your, you know, where they can find you on YouTube, what your Instagram, or if you have one. I know you're on Twitter, YouTube, but just drop all that stuff. And then I'm going to give, for example, once he tells you where it is, you got Little Jimmy videos, call for help videos. Right? If you want to know everything you need to know about this guy, just pull up the last couple of videos with the little guy, his birthday video where he opens up Pokemon cards, and or the call for help video where he's crawling all over you and tells you, hey, pause the video for a second so I can go get a drink of water. You're like, you can go get a drink. I don't have to pause. Like, I don't have to pause the video.
Always.
It's amazing to see.
My YouTube is Jimmy Gunz, Gunz. I'm the white guy, not the rapper. I did used to rap when I was younger, though. But my Twitter is at Mr. Jimmy Bro. Yeah, that's all I have. I don't have any other social medias. Haven't gotten any Instagrams yet.
We're getting you on Instagram. We're gonna bring you into Luca Nation. We're gonna get you on Instagram.
I was thinking about doing an Instagram. I've been talking to Camping World about doing a content creator partnership, and the head of their social media platform said I need an Instagram.
So I'm jumping all around. We'll get back to Little Jimmy in a second, but the Camping World stuff is amazing. So I know you did a cross country. You did like a whole trip. Talk about that for a second, because that's
so I haven't told anybody any of this yet. So I guess you guys will get the news on.
We get the exclusive. We got that's it. Boom, boom, boom. The Jimmy Gunz exclusive. I love it.
Well, it's a good thing, but it's not. So as me and Aspen are doing this trip across America, and I know we're flying all over the place. As me and Aspen are doing this trip across America, you know, we're opening the cards in the Grand Canyon. Box Select. I don't know if you've seen that video.
Yep.
And I pulled the Jordan Alvarez Gold Vinyl 101 patch auto. So I posted on Twitter, and then Marcus Lemonis says, you know, that's amazing. Maybe MLB and Camping World can make this even more special trip for you. We'll let the fans decide. So, you know, people started hitting thumbs up, retweets. As we got over into Memphis, all of a sudden he put another tweet out and said, you know, your hustle is real. You have the support of your community. We would love for you to show the world America from coast to coast. Congratulations. Didn't hear anything else. Didn't hear anything for a long time. Would reach out, wouldn't hear anything back, and about 2 months went by, and then he DM'd me and he was like, hey, I'm going to put you in touch with the head of our social media. So I went back and forth with them, you know, talking with them a little bit about what I would want, what they would want. You know, you got to sign like a 3-year contract with them to where they give you like a monthly stipend. You get stuff from Camping World. They give you a new RV to use. You have to send them videos and, you know, pictures every month that they can use in their commercials and everything else. And, you know, we were talking about like a YouTube series. Then they reached back out and they said, look, we had our analytics team go over and your analytics aren't high enough right now. So it's something that we're going to have to, you know, we definitely want to work with you, but it's got to make sense to us. Let's circle back next year. But in the meantime, we're going to give you a brand new 2021 Coleman camper trailer for you and your family to get you started. Have a blast with your family. You're great. So Camping World, Marcus, has been wonderful. Like, how do you complain about that? You know what I mean? It's but I got to build up my social media and then circle back next year and we'll see what happens. You know,
Let's do it.
Everything happens exactly how it's supposed to. I'm a firm believer in that.
Andrew, do you hear that? You hear that? Everything happens as it's supposed to. Don't let that one slide, man. That's like Andrew would get that tattooed on his ass if he could.
I've heard a few things that I like from Jimmy. I want to ask him about his faith, truthfully, and I think it's going to be cool to talk about Haiti, the church, because you know, I think a big part of winning in the hobby also comes with personal development.
True.
One of the best personal development books is the Bible, and you mentioned church and faith, and I know Cage. See, this is the thing. Cage and we sometimes are on different wavelengths. I will tell you, faith is a big part of my investing strategy, and that to some people out there will be like, "Whoa, that's crazy." You don't know what's going to happen out there, and I've had a lot of strength having faith that if I plant the right seeds, I make the right decisions. Mm-hmm. Good things happen. I think it's the parable of the sower, actually. So that was where I was curious, because for me, what I wanted to ask you before Cage, how do you see yourself? Are you a businessman? Are you a content creator? Are you a man of faith, a father? Are you all those things?
Oh, I mean, obviously, father. I'm a Christian. Jesus is my best friend. I say all the time, I'm the most blessed person on earth because I truly believe it. I shouldn't be here. I really shouldn't. Like, I'm not going to go into my life. But if I went into my life, people would be like, whoa, what the, what I've done, what I've lived. My kids saved me, I'll just say that. But when it comes to using my faith as investing, that ain't never worked for me. Like, I'm the guy who will go and sell Michael Jordans right before The Last Dance comes out. Michael Jordan rookie card, sold 2 of them. I'm the guy who will sell 2 or actually rack 2 Kobe Bryant autographs a month before the guy dies. Like, anything that and Kobe, God, that sucks. But anything that I do is the wrong move in the hobby when it comes to financial gain. Like, every time I sell, if you see me sell something, you go buy whatever that is I'm selling, because it's always the exact opposite.
So Jimmy, top of your head, what's your biggest winner in the hobby?
Well, before that, his biggest winner is coming, because I know you make fun of me, man. I know you're all faith and I only have faith in you. But wouldn't you say that's sort of like the trials of Job, man? And maybe your win is just around the corner? Maybe you're just being tested with all these sales.
I feel like I've been beaten down as bad as Joe, and I hope that I never will be. Again,
I'm curious.
Most of my problems I created myself in life.
I'm curious. The camper that you got for hard work.
What's that?
That seems like a win. The camper.
Heck yeah, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. That's insane.
You made a bet on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Is it the best bet we could all make?
I think it was just the trip. Like, you know, me and Aspen, we weren't gonna do the trip. Last second we did it. By the way, couldn't have done it without the hobby. You know, we ran some gun shows right before. Hey, this is money for the trip. People were just amazing. You know, I got people. I don't want to say names because I'll forget names, but I had people who would come live into my gun show and they would sell their own cards to give me money. I had people that as we're on the trip, they're hitting me up and they're like, "Hey, can I buy you lunch? Can I, you know, pay for a tank of gas? Can I?" A friend gave me $500 on the trip. You know, got to go hang out with like Buck City Breaks, Rippin' Gypsy, and both of them sent us away with something on the way. That was a whole hobby thing. But I feel like I was talking to Aspen and I felt like God was on that entire trip with us. I didn't get pulled over one time, didn't see one wreck. You know, saw a couple people stranded on the side of the road. We stopped, helped change their tires, got them back on the road. Didn't see a single bad thing, didn't see a single protest, single riot. As we went through Texas and went up, that's when the storm came behind us. Missed the storm, didn't drive through any monsoons. Soon as we got through with Yellowstone, snow hit the next week. Like, it seemed like everything was perfect, except part of the reason I did the trip was to go sell my baby brother my Acura TL in Indianapolis because there's nothing but rust buckets out there.
Nice
And I drove his junker Civic home and it overheated in Idaho.
It died.
Almost left the screen. So that was like the only bad thing to happen the entire trip. We didn't catch Corona, you know, and everybody's home locked up, scared, and we're in Vegas walking around on the strip. We're in DC. You know, we got
it was great. It was great stuff. I mean, who gets to open up a box of cards with their daughter in the Grand Canyon? I mean,
she didn't want to either. She didn't want to. I was like, "Come on, record this. I'm going to open this." She's looking around, nervous, like, "Dad, people are looking at us. I don't care about them." You know? Yeah, we pull a 101. Insane.
If you would make the trip into a movie, what would be the title?
Oh gosh. That's not fair. You got to give me a couple minutes for that one,
man.
You're an off the cuff guy.
Going to be a made for TV movie.
No way, Jimmy. You're an off the cuff guy. I saw your video about the guy who burned some cards, and you went in on ripping the hobby and let people live and let them do what they want to do. That was off the cuff.
I was drunk. Hold on, let me have a shots.
There you go. That's true.
I was drunk when I did that video for Mike. Man,
he needs liquid creativity, man.
That's how this hobby is, especially on social media sometimes. Like that dude Mike, baseball collector, one of the best dudes like you will ever talk to, man of faith, super charitable, takes off, goes to other countries to do work for people, like one of the best dudes ever. He just happens to have a couple bucks, you know, because he works hard. He bets on himself, and people look at him like he's a pompous asshole because of that. And the guy is anything but. You know, he reached out to us. Hey, bro, you're going to come stay at my house when you're in Texas, and took care of us the whole time. The most gracious host. Yeah, when I saw people ragging on him about burning a couple cards, I lost my cookies, man. That was something else.
Oh, think about that whole trip and the hobby, and you know the people you're on, and the whole. It's all. I mean, that's crazy, right? When you were buying, when you're on your lunatic Masters of the Universe sprint, and then let me go pick up a couple of packs of cards. Do you ever think this would be what you'd be doing?
No, of course not. Of course not. But every moment leads to the moment you're living right now, whether good or bad. And you know, it's one of those things where you know people always say hindsight's 20/20, and you know I get that, but you know, you need everything back there in order to be where you're at. So I don't look at past things in my life, wish I did something different. You know, I'll take those lessons. It's like, I guess I look at life like driving a car. You got a rear view mirror. You know, you look real quick to see where you came from, but you better look out that windshield or you're gonna crash. You know, I'm not spending my life looking through a rear view mirror wondering what I should have did or I don't know.
I love it. So the gun show, we've mentioned it a bunch of times, right? So tell people what that is. Tell people about how you do it, what you're on YouTube, you know, how it works, how you put it together, what you do. I mean, it's a marathon, but some of the people listening are not your 3,000, 4,000 followers on Twitter. And this is the first time they're ever hearing of it. And we're going to try to direct them to the next one on December 5th. But tell us how that started, what it is, and that kind of stuff.
It was just another way to, like, you know, do little hobby hangouts. When I first started, I picked Monday night because I was still out partying every weekend. So I didn't want to do it on a Friday night. Didn't want to do it on a Saturday night. I was still living in Portland. I was on a 2-day bender. And then if you watch some of my first ones, I'll be sweating and I'll be like just not all there. And that's a Monday night. And I rocked with Monday nights for like 2 years and just switched to Saturday nights like a year ago. It's been way better for the East Coasters. But it was just a way for everybody to get together and, you throw cards up live and then people bid on them. And, I spent $30,000 on cards in like 4 months. We refied our house and my wife, she's going to kill me, guys, one of these days. But I was buying everything that was there. Like I have totes of cards still up in my shop that I haven't even gone through yet. But I was buying everything and it was like, okay, well, how can I move some of this stuff? So, we'd start just doing the auction, putting cards up. And man, I was losing my ass for a while because I'd only have like 5 people, 10 people in there. I remember I put a $1,300 card up once, sold for $35. Yeah, it hurt. But I lost a ton of money for a long time. And then you slowly start to build you start to build a little following. People want to come hang out. You want people to hang out, to talk to. And I started incorporating drinking. I didn't see anybody doing that on you see everybody doing it now, but I didn't see anybody doing that first. So I started doing it to where if a card sold for $20, I would take a shot. And I was getting belligerent. Like I'd get bottle deep at the end of the night. And the next day I'd wake up and I'd watch the last 10 minutes of my videos and I'd be like, oh my God.
That's a great bidding strategy, by the way. So people want to bid higher because they want to see you more plastered. So
yeah.
And then they get better deals at the end of the show.
Better deals at the end. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I start pulling out cards that I know I shouldn't pull out. Like
who wants this Jordan rookie for $12?
I put a Jordan rookie up before for like a thou or something, and like my buddy Crosby was like, "Dude, I was gonna buy it because I'm like, you're gonna be pissed tomorrow." But everybody in there loved me, and they were like, "We're not buying this fucking Jordan rookie, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it." And nobody
is it that you just have a big heart? I feel like you're a giver, and you don't care about the value. You're like, I could make that money back anyway. You just want to give good deals.
True. That is true. But when you are like that, though, sometimes you get extra taken care of at the same time. Like it comes back tenfold. Sometimes, you know what I mean? I could be in not a bad situation, but like my daughter wants golf clubs. And so, I throw some cards on. I'll be like, hey, I'm trying to save up for my daughter's golf clubs right now. And next thing you know, I'm getting packages in the mail from people that are like, hey, sell this Jeter Downs autograph. Use the money for your daughter's golf clubs. Or they'll pay extra for a card. And it's real cool, man.
So you're saying it works both ways?
Definitely.
And that's back to your original point. That's where you being real, you find your tribe vibes with that. And then there's like that mutually beneficial. You guys help each other out.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Great group. Like in fact, the same person who sent me this was like, oh man, I'm trying to sell some cards. And it's a buddy that I actually got to meet when I was in Texas. But I sent him a DM, hey bro, I need to borrow some money. Like we're that people, our group is that close. It's a really cool thing.
Given you grew up with ADHD, I understand, and I appreciate you sharing that because a lot of people wouldn't share that, especially the Ritalin part. The way the world has turned, content, cards, taking road trips around the world, living on your terms. Don't you feel the world has almost come to you?
Man, it takes but you got to gamble on yourself sometimes. I was working for the post office, came out here and got my dream job in a small town. Nobody knows who I am. All of a sudden I become a postman and I'm walking up and down the main street delivering mail. All of a sudden everybody knows who I am.
How long ago was this?
I just quit that about 7 months ago and I was doing it for about a year. Out here, and it was great job. And I gambled on myself and said, you know what? I want to stay home with my kids. I want to find a way to make this work. If I just stop buying so many pairs of shoes, clothes, and He-Mans in Burger King, then I could probably, get away with less money. And it has been amazing. I wouldn't have been able to go on that trip with Aspen had I not quit the job. I wouldn't have won a trailer. I wouldn't have been in talks with Camping World for possibly. So I wouldn't be here on this podcast right now had I.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that is the pinnacle of the hobby. The fact that you are here with.
Yes. Yes.
We love it. That's awesome. Listen, man. I mean, it is, and it's amazing. All the energy you bring. That's what draws people. It's why I reach out to you. I'm like, I gotta stop being a fan on the sidelines. Let's get this guy on. Let's get him chatting with us. And I think look, I've been following you for over a year on
Okay,
Twitter.
tell the story how you started following Jimmy.
Well, so the big one, the one where I really started doing it, is when he did the Sig for Soldiers charity auction. So chat about that a little bit.
That was only a couple months ago.
That was this past summer, right? So I've been following you for longer than that, but that was a key one, and I want to talk about that only because yesterday I think he's closing it down. He got a flood. So let's talk about that and talk about your next one for December 5th also, because I do want to make sure, one, people can hear about Sig for Soldiers. I mean, just a great guy, great charity. It's one thing to do this stuff and do it for yourself. It's one thing to go out there and say, I'm going to have an auction. I'm going to spend 5 hours on YouTube Live. People are going to buy my cards from me. I'm going to get drunk. But it's another thing, it's a real selfless thing that I think you're doing. And I can even tell I'm asking you to talk about it and you don't even want to. It's funny. So I want you to, almost I'll toot your horn for you. I mean, what Jimmy does is these auctions that he's doing, the auction and hangouts, the gun shows, as he calls them. There's a portion of this is going to go to somebody. It's going to go to somebody for a charity. For Sig for Soldiers was a great one, and you got the other guy coming up now who had I think a brain tumor, right? I mean, he had cancer. So talk about the Sig for Soldiers one. Like, how does that happen? Do you just wake up and say, you know what, this is who I'm going to do? I mean, does the community, your 3,000 people, say we should do something for this guy, and you're like, the hell with it? I had enough tequila. Let's roll. I feel like, how does it work?
Nah, man, it started with, you guys still okay? It started with going back to my, I'm gonna say my past life. Like, I wasn't a good dude. I punched people, a lot of people, fights all the time. I just, kind of always looked out for number one. When I got into the community, I got to meet a couple of really cool people. Buddy Ryan, Yancey, Buddy Deafness, 45. We came across the young man named Rev Strong, young kid battling cancer. And I remember we had it was like, hey man, we got to do something for this family. Nothing we could do will ever make it better, because he was passing, it was kicking his ass. But we were like, we got to do something, and ended up reaching out to like Upper Deck, reached out to Tops, reached out to Panini, and they all jumped to help. And we threw it out to a couple of the guys, and everybody jumped to help. And it was like, all of a sudden we realized that we could move people. Like, that it's not what I could do, it's what we could do. And I just happen to have the ability to maybe get people to see things my way. So we did the first one, Rev Strong. And then from that point on, in gun shows, it would always be who wants to do something nice for somebody. Like, we'd have a certain card, everybody throw $5 real quick, and we'll give this person this card. It was real awesome. And then I got a buddy named Brian, who lives up in, I think, like New England or something. Looks just like you, by the way. He has a charity called.
They all look like that in New York and Boston.
Oh, is that what they all do? Okay,
about me? I thought you were saying he looks like you.
Barbers. Same haircut. They just turn those haircuts out assembly line. Sorry, Jimmy.
It's all good. So he had a best friend growing up named Toots, and I guess Tufts is a charity, or is a cancer hospital or whatever. So they made something called Toots for Tufts. So that was the first one that we did earlier this year, and ended up raising like $3,500 for it. And that was, they normally do like big golf tournaments and everything else and to raise money, but with COVID they couldn't. So yeah, my little 35 was nothing compared to the big $10,000 checks that they hand off and walk around with, but it was something that felt good. And then, I know Tim with Sig for Soldiers, love that man to death, works so hard what he does. So wanted to do that one for him. And then my buddy Scott, I know he's trying to raise money. It's coming up onto the end of the year. It's something that means something to him, so it means something to me. So yeah, but again, it's not something that I could do by myself at all. I throw a tweet out and say, hey, I want to do this. Does anybody have any items that they would like to donate, that we can auction off? And then people hit me up and they're like, hey, I got this, or I got that. Go ahead and auction it off. And 100% of that will go to his cause, not just a portion, but 100%. I got a great group of people, man, and I'll say, hey, let's do something. Something means something to me, and then it means something to them, and it's amazing, truly amazing.
So from Luca Nation, from us, I'll tell you, I saw the most recent video. You guys can check it out also, the call for help video. I know that you had those $20 drink packs for your last one, right? Where basically any card you sold was $20. You kind of gave away like a pack of cool cards. No, nothing crazy in there, but like, you know, it got people to bid and, you know, it was like a bonus pack, right? I think you're running out of them. Who gave you those? Was it Buck City Breaks?
Oh, no. This is something I buy these. I'll buy, you know, I'll hit people up and be like, hey, who has, you know, color prisms, silvers, da. Like, I just bought a fixed stack of cards from my buddy Tim for $85. Like, I pay for these. I buy these. Sometimes a few friends will send me some.
I'm going to send you some.
Man, these
I have
packs
a bunch.
are good.
I'm going to send you a bunch.
People sell on stack sales, and I'm like, the free packs that I give away are like that good. People
we'll talk after this and give me.
So there's obviously a lot to unpack there, right? Because we want to help as part of our community. But I just want to stay on this topic because Jimmy's the type of guy, I've known him for 45 minutes. He doesn't talk a lot about himself, but he does talk about his past life, and I think I don't know if you know this. Your story is really inspiring. I think, and I'd love for you to elaborate on this, because I also feel like I had a past life and I was egotistical. It was about me. I was looking at number one. And this whole episode, you're talking about others and we instead of me. When did that flip for you?
I don't like who I was. It's one of those things where it comes a point where you look in the mirror and you don't like what's looking back at you. You know what I mean? But you don't have to die on any hill. You could reinvent yourself at any moment if you mean it. And I was due for a reinvention. In order for me to be a good parent and a good husband and a good friend, I needed to change.
So he'll be back with us. I think he dropped off. I tend to do it. He's back. The reason I say that is people on the other side of this are listening. Sure, they're card collectors, but they're also people too, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and I'd love for you, maybe Cage will talk about this, you'll talk about this. I'm sure your life results changed when you stopped making life about you and you made it about others, right? A lot of the things that you want in life start falling into place when you start coming from a place of service.
Well, it depends on what you want at that moment. Like there were times when money was all I was after, and I got plenty. But then there were times when respect and self-respect and love and that's what I want. You know what I mean? I always say, shine your light. That's what I want now. I don't care about the things from before. I used to be the guy with diamond bracelets and Gucci belts, and none of that matters to me anymore. I don't care about that kind of stuff. Like I did an interview thing. Got a buddy named Deafness, and he does In Depth with Deafness. And I dug into a whole lot of my past on there. Growing up with group homes, mom signed me away when I was 12. Like, I had to look out for myself. I didn't know what love was until I got a pit bull. I had my daughter, and when she was put into my arms, and I said this then, this sounds horrible. I didn't feel like something was given to me. I felt like something was being taken from me at that moment. And it sucks to say, because I'd take a bullet right in the face for her right now. But it took a while for me to realize what I had, because it was something else that I wanted in life. Oh God, that sucks so bad to say, but it's true.
It's completely honest.
I would say the stuff that the people from our community have resonated are the people that come from our heart, from our losses, from the things that we've made mistakes about and we've corrected, because other people feel what you feel, right? Like we all go through the same shit. We have the same emotions. So I think you being real helps other people.
My daughter's my best friend, so I'm saying that right now.
You could tell. You could tell.
It took me. Maybe I had postpartum. I guess the women's have that when they have a baby. Maybe I had postpartum or something, but I quickly defeated that. And man, my kids are my world. Period.
Plus, pit bulls are the best dogs, and they just got a bad rep.
What's that?
Pit bulls are the best pets. They just get a bad rep.
I had one for 18 years. I was blessed. I didn't know. I literally didn't know what love was until I had a dog. Until I had a dog. I was about 19 years old.
Jimmy, you play football growing up?
Used to in high school.
What position?
Wide receiver, cornerback. But
You got a little speed to you, or you were like athletic? You had a
I
little
did
speed
before
to you.
I was a basketball player. I'm 6'4" white dude, and I used to be able to dunk like nobody else. But started smoking, started living a different life and let sports go, unfortunately.
Jimmy's
And
gonna be
now
on our celebrity team. That's
I'm
it.
gonna tear my whole Achilles out, so I don't even.
Oh, forget it now. Now we don't want him anymore. Forget it now. When he have, I was gonna have. He's gonna be on our team, on our Luga Nation team for the celebrity basketball game. But now
Right.
forget about it. No Achilles. He's
You're a
done.
good
He can
coach.
coach.
Hey, my
He can
defense
coach.
is mean. Ain't nobody coming in that key if I'm in there. But I'm just gonna stay there while you guys go down there, and I'll be back here.
Jimmy, you have 2 kids, right? Aspen's your daughter. What's your son's name?
Little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy.
Yep.
You're a competitor in this participation trophy world we live in. How do you navigate that as a parent? Are you competitive with them? How do you teach them that losing is part of the game?
Well, shoot, that's funny because when I coached my daughter's basketball team, it was for the YMCA, and you're supposed to give everybody a trophy at the YMCA.
Everyone plays the exact same amount of time. That's what New America is all about.
So
you play
I did.
exactly 37 seconds.
Also gave MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player, and people wanted to work hard for that. I don't do the everybody gets a trophy thing. That's not my mindset. That's not what I'm teaching my daughter. If you want to be just good enough, then you're going to end up being one of the people who actually lowers what we are as a nation, because you're just a dead middle. You got to do better than the people who don't care. That way it helps level it out, man. So I want my daughter to be the best at everything she does. My daughter is 13 years old. Birthday is in May. So she just turned 13 in the summer. She's in high school right now. Her kids are, the other kids in her class are 2 years older than she is. So she should be an 8th grader, but she's in high school and she's doing junior math. Her class, she's smartest in all of her class. That's what I push on her. I need her to be better than me, because I wasn't good in school.
That's our job, isn't it? It's to make sure our kids are better than we are, right? Tell me, it's May 4th, by the way. Is it May 4th?
Yeah.
It's May 4th. Is that the birthday?
Yeah, she's a Star Wars baby.
So is my daughter. She's 11.
Oh, really?
May the 4th. May the 4th is her birthday. I just took a shot in the dark.
Wow,
Yeah, May the 4th be with you. Yep. Same 11 years old. So not the same year. She's 11, but May 4th, same birthday.
Yep.
And I have a son also. But it's funny, Andrew. I'll answer your question about Jimmy about making the kids work for it, basically, right? So it's not a participation trophy. One of my favorite videos is his kid's last birthday. How old did Jimmy turn? 4?
Yeah,
right?
4.
So he has a stack of Pokemon packs, and you guys know me. If I have a stack of Pokemon packs, I'm giving Ian all of them. I don't care. He can have the participation trophy. Don't know. So no, Jimmy says to his kid, watch the video, guys, because it's hilarious too. He says to him, I got a stack of Pokemon cards, but you're going to work for them. You're going to count each pack. Uh-huh. And when you make a mistake, that's when you're stopping. And you're not opening the rest of them. So he goes from 12 to 14. He's like, that's it. You only get 12. That's it.
He was so 13. Confident with that 14. He almost had me.
He's like 14. Yeah, I was like,
trying to make sure right.
It's funny shit, man. It really is. And I mean, I want to say it's good content. It's your kid. It's not content, but it really, I love it because I have the same thing. I got a little blonde kid jumping on me in the middle of the video. Also, Andrew knows it because it's like, we're on. He's like, look, here he is. Here he's crawling over here. I call you
super dad all the time, but you asked me to stop doing that. So
exactly, stop it, because it's just dad. We're all super dads. And don't feel bad too. With my daughter, when I found out I was having a daughter, I didn't talk for like a week, and I'm like, what? Because I wanted a boy. I didn't have any girl names picked. I had nothing. And what's funny about it is, I
almost got named Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. So I
almost got named Jimmy. I promise you that.
I have 4 years apart between the two of them, and I had the whole girl dad thing licked. Like I had the pink room. I knew every princess. We had the Disney, thing all done. So by the time the second one came, and I had 2 older cousins who also had 2 girls each, there were no boys in my family. The second time came, I went into the sonogram, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna be another girl. I got this licked. I saved every princess dress. I saved all the clothes. I'm gonna save some money, right? And it's a boy, and I didn't talk again for a week because I was like, that's it. I love this. I love having a girl. I love that, and I'm the only one who has both sides of it and was pissed off both times.
Hey, check this out. We didn't even find out before what we were gonna have on our second one.
See?
We held it. We waited until the baby came out for me to know.
You look like a guy that would do a slam dunk gender reveal.
No, no. We didn't go in and find out what we were gonna have. We didn't find out until she had the baby.
So
And
that
I
story
remember,
tells me everything I need to know about you. You, unlike me, can keep sealed wax.
I do have plenty of sealed wax. Yeah,
See,
not new though. I can't keep new stuff, but I got
can't
plenty
keep
old.
It doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna open it. I need to find out what the gender is. I need to find out
Oh,
if there's
man.
anything
I
good in
remember
the sealed wax.
they pulled the baby out and they held the baby up, and I looked and I said, "Those are nuts!" And I freaked out. I was like, "Yeah, that's my boy."
Jimmy, have you ever thought about breaking for others, like running a breaking business?
No, my friends break, man. I don't step on my friends' toes. Like if everybody didn't decide to be a breaker, maybe, you know what I mean. But I let them do that. I'll do auctions. I have fun doing this. You know, I ate Buck City Breaks. They flew me out last month out to Ohio, and just had me bring some energy to their show and hang out and
Like a celebrity
amazing
breaker,
food.
a celebrity breaker.
Like weird, but yeah. Yeah. No, they're just good buddies. They wanted me to come out. I got to see them when we were on a trip, and they were like, "Hey, we had such a good time. Why don't you come back out?" And Chris and Adam, great dudes. They got Marcus and Hoovy over there. Buck City Breaks, awesome dudes. But yeah, they flew me out last month.
I wasn't gassing your head. I was talking about like celebrity, like a celeb shot in beer pong.
Well, hey, I might be a celebrity, actually. I actually hold the world record for eating the fastest quarter pounder with cheese ever. McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese, 13 seconds. I got a video on there.
Are you gonna try the plant-based one and beat that record?
That's disgusting.
I'm with you. By the way, at some point in time, we will be in the same physical room. COVID will not be doing what it is. We'll be in the same room, and I'm going to try to beat that record.
You better watch the record first. Better watch it first, and then you tell me if you can do that.
I'm going to try to beat it.
Bites and swallowing.
I'm more of a quantity than speed guy, though. I would say 10 Big Macs in one sitting.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, you'll dig this. When I was just out with Buck City Breaks in Ohio with Chris, you ever heard of the T-Rex burger at Wendy's? It's the giant 9-patty. Yep. We ate that, and then the next day we had the Jurassic, which is the 10-patty. That hurt, but we did it.
I can imagine.
We finished them.
But they say COVID kills, right?
That almost killed. I didn't deuce the whole trip. I thought it was going to happen on the airplane coming back. It was horrible.
You went on the airplane the following day after those two?
Yeah.
That could not have been a great trip.
Yeah, it was scary.
Did you upgrade to business class?
They upgraded me to business class. Yes, they did.
You need a little
when I got home, I didn't take a deuce. I had a litter. It was horrible. It was. I'll never do that again. Way too much. Windy.
It was an once. There was so many of them. I love it.
But you know what's confusing about Jimmy? So he's talking here how he's had 17 lives, but he doesn't look older than 25.
Oh, stop it! I'm so old.
Am I wrong, Cage?
I got cul-de-sacs right here in my hair. I'm the salt and the silver when it comes to my beard. Got beard hair. I got to pull my ear hairs out all the time. I'm old, man.
How old are you?
30 or 41.
Yeah,
41.
Wow.
See?
It's the 11th anniversary of my 30th birthday. That's what it is.
I still got you beat. I'm still the old man of the hobby. I love it.
Man.
I love it. Love it.
Maybe I'd look better if I didn't eat quarter pounders and Wendy's all the time, but
yeah, but would you love life as much?
No.
I tried to get my father, who's no longer with us, so maybe this is not the best story, but I tried to get him to eat carrots to stay longer life, and he's like, listen, I like mayonnaise too much. If I got to live a shorter life and eat mayonnaise or longer one, eat carrots, I'd take the shorter one with the mayo. You're a blue cheese guy.
Is mayonnaise and blue cheese dressing. I promise you that. That's
I can't see you totally.
Jar in my hand, dead, heart attack.
Jimmy, I can't totally see you fitting in with the Portland vibe.
That's why I moved.
That's why you left. That's why they escaped.
I want nothing to do with that. Thank you, California, for raising my property value. I sold that house and I hightailed out. I got 5 acres out here in the country now. Life is great. I leave people alone. People leave me alone. Life's good. They can burn that down all they want.
I want to ask 2 last questions. I want to find out how we as the Luca Nation community could contribute from a charitable perspective. I think Cade would agree with that. But I want to ask, if you're not in the hobby to make money, which it clearly sounds you don't make very much of it, what are you in it for?
No, don't get me wrong, man. There are some times when I do well in a gun show. There are some times when I do well, but again, that's because I spent $30,000 on cards back when they were dirt cheap. So I have boxes and binders and folders full of cards. Man, when you move and you move away from everybody and everything you know, something as great as the internet could be wonderful for you. You know what I mean? It gives you something to do. It gives you people to meet, people to talk to. I don't live at home anymore. If I lived at home, I'd be at the bar doing the same stuff that I've always done. But I live out here in the country now. I got goats and chickens. Like, you know, I hang out with my kids like all day. If I didn't have a social media group, I'd probably lose my mind. You know, I don't go to the bars out here. I want no part of it.
I love it though, because basically the world got different for him because he's away from everybody, but he's closer to everybody online. The internet allows you to build that community up. You know, you don't have to be in a bar. So right. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm safe, and my hands don't hurt. Like it's good. And I know, you know, people watch me on my gun shows probably think I'm a raging alcoholic. I literally only drink on Saturdays. And maybe because I am an alcoholic. My wife will have a drink on a Wednesday every once in a while, and she'll be like, "You want one?" And I'll be like, "No, I know if I drink one, I'm going to keep going." So my Saturdays, you know, I can't wait for my Saturdays. I get to get a little bit tipsy and, you know, have some fun, let loose a little bit.
We love it. Love it. So December 5th is the next one. Listen, I have to send you some money for all the retweets your group took care of last night, so we can handle that. And then I'm also with Andrew. I have a basement full of cards, so I'm going to put together a stack of cards and send them over. You know, colors, silvers, you name it. This way you can do some packs for the next show. Also, we'll definitely take care of that. We'll talk to you about that one and make sure that gets done. And Luca Nation, listen, guys, I'm going to have them say it again. You know where you can find them. You know, the Gunz Show, Jimmy Gunz, Mr. Jimmy Bro on Twitter. And we're going to get you on Instagram. Camping World's not enough. We're going to be the ones that do it. That's it.
Let's do it. But don't get me wrong. Camping World is great. Talking to them has been awesome. I get it. It's a business. Something has to make sense. But they want to do something. I just have to work my part up a little bit more. So,
guys,
I get the hunch that these next 10 years are going to be exciting for you. I feel like you're starting to share your story more. We didn't get into it a lot. I think we got into it a little bit. So if you guys out there listening, go back and listen. I think there's a wealth of personal development knowledge within this. And Cage, you know how much I love personal development. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, maybe a simple question, maybe a little bit more complex. What's 2030? What's the next 10 years look like for you?
Scary.
He does this to everybody. Scary. Ooh.
Scary. And it's not because of me. I don't want to get in, you know, this is a sports podcast, but it's scary. I fear for my kids. I'm going to spend as much time as I can with them. And man, who knows what's going to happen? It's unfortunately not looking good.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. But listen, here's the fun, the hobby, right? In the beginning, we're good. Stick to the hobby. We got a great community here. You know, you're building up something amazing. And Luca Nation, listen, if you're
you're not gonna tell him you gave a Joe Biden card as a play like
I did give a Joe Biden
4.5 days ago.
Listen, ultimately, what this is about is making people money. So if they can go and buy a Topps Joe Biden card and sell it,
I got Jimmy leaning into his screen.
You sell it, go right ahead.
I'm not just a nice guy, Jimmy. I know how to stir the pot every once in a while.
There you go. Good stuff. You got to be able to do that. You got to be able. Otherwise, you'd be uninteresting.
He was the running mate of Mr. 2008 Obama. Topps came out with a card that year, and it's $3.
It was like a 55 card set.
And by the way, I really like that image of it.
McCain had a set. McCain had a card in the set. Sarah Palin had a card in the set. But right now, none of them are.
She did not. How did you not come with that play?
For some reason.
You got your Sarah Palin autograph? That's awesome.
Baseball. I don't know. I bought it in a big lot. I got it. I don't know where it came from. But one more thing I want to say, man.
Yeah, go.
If your listeners want to see mine and my daughter's relationship, my very favorite video on my YouTube is if you type it in and you type Jimmy Gunz Disneyland. And it was
Sorry.
It was when we were able to send her to Disneyland, and how we did it. We did a pack war with like 90 Fleer or something, and I slid a card in there, and she looked on the side, saw the fit card, and was like, "Oh, there's a hit in mine." There was no hit 90 Fleer, and it was one of the fit cards that I wrote on, and amazing video. I love it. You guys should watch it. I hope everybody. I'm gonna go watch it as soon as we're done again. That's the reason I do the videos with my kids, is so I can go back and I can watch the growth. Because I look at my daughter, little chubby girl, from 3-4 years ago when we first started, and I look at her today, and she's changing. She's changing quick, and she's still there though.
Still doing the hobby.
I got so excited because Cage loves Disney World, and if he was home, he has this big mural or painting on his wall. His backdrop, it's Disney
Main
World.
Street. Yeah.
Can you tell us, because I'm on YouTube, I want to make sure they get to the destination, to the Jimmy Gunz Disney World. What would I search, or where would I go? And I'm gonna post the link to Luke.
Oh, just go up in YouTube, go in the link, just type in Jimmy Gunz Disneyland, and it should pop right there.
Disneyland. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the California one.
Yeah, that's a big deal, by the way. That's a big deal.
And it was one of those things where we couldn't afford to take the whole family. And a situation came up to where, the principal of her grade school was one of my best friends, and they were going. And we were like, hey, is there any way that we could pay for it? You'll take Aspen? And they were like, yeah, we could do that. And so we didn't even get to experience it with her, but we didn't want her to not go during a certain time frame, because it's magical at a certain time, you know what I mean? And so we wanted her to go, but
let me read you one of the comments, so just so you guys know what you're getting into when you're watching this video. From Shakarat Show. Dang, brother, I shouldn't be cutting onions while I'm watching this video. Who's crying? Okay, you got me on this video. Jimmy, with your daughter's expression finding out she's going to Disneyland. This is priceless, brother. Much love, and God bless to you and your family.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's what it's about.
Every time. I'm about to tear up thinking about watching it again. I can't wait to get off this thing with you guys and go watch that again.
Cutting onions.
If there's one takeaway for me from this episode, and I just met you, Jimmy, I hope we have a long-term relationship. Serve others, help others, make your life about others, and good things will come your way.
It happens. It happens. But, you're still going to deal with your other stuff. You have to know that not everything's going to go perfect.
Are you worried that we're building the culture where we think that?
What's that?
Are you worried that, like, 'cause I'm not a father, right? So I see it from my perspective, but like I could see how you would say like our kids or our younger generations aren't prepared for knowing that things don't go the way you want them and how to handle that adversity. Yeah. And I don't want to speak for you, but.
Well, certain kids are, though, because their parents raise them a certain way or teach them a certain way. Other kids get everything they want. Like, I can't wait to take my daughter's phone away. I'm going to go in there when we're done, and I'm going to look for a reason to take the phone for a week. Like, I can't wait to like, her room better be clean, the dishes. So whatever she's supposed to do better be done. She earns everything, and she loves it. And, but you end up raising the child. She went on her phone one night later than she was supposed to. And the next day I sat her down, and I'm like, okay, so you did that. You weren't supposed to. What should I do? And she goes, you should probably take my phone. And I was like, for how long? And she's like, probably for a month, Dad. And like, she knows, like, she's smart enough to know. Once you teach your kids certain things, but then that's why she's on the honor roll at school and part of the honor society and everything else, because she takes responsibility for who she is. That doesn't just happen. That's something that's taught. And it's consistent. You have to be consistent with your kids. Your kids are going to have 1,000 friends. You're going to have 2 parents, hopefully. Some have 4, but they're going to have 1,000 friends. Be friends later. Be a parent now. Teach them now. It's your job to get them ready for this world that we all know is very, very tough. It sucks. Yeah.
There you go. Listen, if you tune in for card stuff, this is a card guy through and through, but we're all approaching this hobby from a different perspective, right? And everybody brings their own background, their own life into this. And look what it creates now. I mean, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the gun show auction. We're going to promote it ourselves as well. The 1251 where you're helping somebody out. And, we love spending time with you, man. It was great chatting with you for an hour. I know everything I need to know about you from the way your community responds to what you put out there. And look, what last night you're like, hey, I'm going on this podcast, let's get 50 or 100 retweets, and boom, but I wake up this morning and there's 140 retweets. I'm like, look at
And you're like, hey.
he's like, that's it. It's amazing. It's great stuff. And so a big thank you to, your fan base, your listeners, your followers who I hope come and check us out. And guys, Luca Nation, when you listen to this as well, find Mr. Jimmy Bro on Twitter if you're on Twitter and follow him. Check out his YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and we're gonna, we'll make sure we're involved on the December 5th. I'm gonna send you some cards, and we're gonna promote it as well because
Awesome.
You do it for a good cause, man. So thank you.
And again, every Saturday, 4 p.m. Pacific, I do the Gunz show. So pop in, you guys pop in, come hang out, come see how the group really operates because it's good fun.
So you got one this Saturday? This Saturday?
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
Saturday,
Oh yeah.
4 p.m.
As soon as I
All
start
right.
getting some drinks in me, I start cussing everybody out, and we have a good time, man. It's
Jimmy,
fun.
Jimmy, could you put on your consultant hat, your businessman hat? We're making a real push. So we understand Instagram for whatever worth, but we're making a push on Twitter.
Okay.
It's a different world.
It is.
How do you win on Twitter? What are people looking for on Twitter? Can you give
Free
us
shit.
giveaways?
Free shit.
Man. When we first got on Twitter, man, we used to post something and everybody would retweet it and like it and da-da-da. And now you have to go into like your group chats and you have to be like, hey, will you guys retweet this for me? Or will you guys get this started for me? And it's tough. I've been on for 4 years and I think I just hit like 3,200, followers. Again, I've never tried to grow my channel, but there are so many channels where people just started in 2020 and they got 5,000 and 6,000 followers. And it's giving stuff away. It sucks, but it is. You have to do giveaways. Otherwise you can grow slow like I am and end up just growing with a very good group, which sometimes might be better.
If you're listening to this from Jimmy's community, we're doing a 3,000 follower giveaway. We're going to be giving away 3 different cards. Cage, let's run one of them on Twitter.
Fine.
Do it.
Fine.
Whatever you guys need, I'm more than willing to help. Another thing I would say is if you guys want to frequent Twitter a little bit more, start a group chat. Find a few people that you like. Start a group chat in DMs. And it's a room for people to be able to talk, and you could throw an idea out, and then you got a few trusted buddies that will help push it and be like, yeah, let's do it this way, or let's do it that way, or get started on retweets and tagging, and you got to develop a community. That's on social media. That's the way it's got to go. But
love it.
You're the man, Jimmy. Thank you so much for your time today, brother.
Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.